anybody pops on, I'll be able to catch them. All right. Go back to the beginning. Giving all the good stuff away. Can everybody still see me in the corner of their screen and my presentation, or is it just my presentation?
Can still see you.
Okay, good. Good. Let me just one quick check to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. Yes, I have. All right. Well, this is a fantastic group. I'm really excited to have everyone here today. I know that we're all sick of Zoom sessions. At least I know I am. But I wanted to take some time to bring everyone together to kind of assess what the barriers are for the businesses who would like to hire returning citizens, but perhaps have come up against some true and false barriers. So what I'm going to do first is explain our program a little bit more, go over some important definitions, but I don't want to give too much information to you. I don't want to provide you with any leading questions. I really want raw feedback. One thing that I've been hearing a lot from people who work within the nonprofit field deal with access for returning citizens is that these types of focus groups have been done before. And I understand that there's been a lot of work done on behalf of the returning citizen, but what I haven't been finding is a lot of that information from the businesses themselves. And so at Organizing Together, we're a development consultancy. We work with for-profit businesses as well as nonprofits and government agencies, but we're really interested in how can we make it easier for the businesses to hire returning citizens and get some raw feedback and perspectives from them. So that's what we're going to be focused on doing today. My name is Charla Burnett. I'm the CEO and founder of Organizing Together. I was born and raised here in Lansing, Michigan, and graduated from Michigan State in 2013. I went on to get a master's degree at the School of International Development at SIT and worked abroad with the UN, working in refugee camps, doing logistics and evaluation work for them. I came back to the States. I went to the University of Massachusetts, Boston, where I'm completing a PhD in community development and facilitation of these types of participatory processes. So focus groups are my bread and butter. I've been doing them for governmental organizations and nonprofits for 7 years now. And I'm hoping today will provide us with a little bit more insight that we haven't gotten from other similar focus groups with returning citizen advocates. So again, this is all going to be recorded. So please turn off your camera if you have any problems with being recorded. We will be posting this to our YouTube channel for people who were not able to participate today. But hopefully we can get the discussion going, and hopefully we do have some business representatives in the audience who can kind of provide us with more feedback. I realize we have advocates and nonprofits and governmental organizers here today on behalf of those who are returning citizens. I'd like you to maybe take a little bit of a back seat today and try to let our businesses speak on their experience. And then afterwards, we'll focus more on what you've come to learn and know and what programs you're doing, because I would like you all to have a little bit of time to share. We do have almost 30 participants here today, so we'll be moving very quickly in regards to getting to know one another. So what is Organizing Together? Organizing Together is a developmental collective. We're a group of technical experts in an array of different fields, from participatory research design to urban planning, to public administration, to political campaigning. And what we do is we focus on helping organizations scale their mission, whatever mission that is. We also have a very big social, moral, ethical mission involved with OT. We have started the Organizing Together Foundation, which focuses on providing technology and technical assistance to nonprofit organizations who are focused on reducing poverty, inequity, and environmental degradation worldwide. So we're a growing, fast-growing LLC for-profit consultancy with a nonprofit mission, really. So now you know a little bit about me. I'd love everyone to just say who they are, what organization they're part of, and 1 or 2 sentences on why this topic is important to them. So I'll go around and kind of call people by name. Please correct me if I say your name wrong, and I'll remember to say it right the next time. Okay? Amber, you're the first person in line. Are you able to introduce yourself?
Hi, Amber Paxton, City of Lansing, Office of Financial Empowerment.
Welcome, Amber. Let's see here. I'm letting more people in. We got Jeffrey Spangler.
Hi, my name's Jeffrey Spangler. I actually work with Charla doing projects with the OT consultancy. My background is in the political and bit of the nonprofit area. I recently got my master's degree from the University of Michigan at Dearborn, and I'm really interested in this sort of topic because I think we really need to find ways to help these people get integrated in the system. And I think a lot of folks on the business side don't really know the advantages of things like this. So I really like to learn more about it from you folks.
Thank you, Jeff. Genem, are you able to introduce yourself?
I am Gina Miles. I work for PG Group. I am the HR manager of this organization. And I am just tuning in to find out what this is about. I apparently showed interest at one point and my assistant sent me this invite. So here I am.
Great. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
I have Michael's phone. This is Michael's. I think I can see you. Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, you got, it's Michael Chesley.
Michael Chesley.
Okay, and I'm a permanent deacon with the Archdiocese of Detroit, and I'm executive director of the Wayne County Outreach Ministry, and which helps men from MDOC, federal, state, and Wayne County Jail in job placement. So I think you sent a message over to Pope Francis Center. Father Tim McKay wasn't, as he sent it over to me, it's more my department. So here I am.
Well, welcome, Michael. Thank you for joining us. I have Ramona Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramona Rodriguez-Washington from the Center for Urban Studies, and I just came to learn more because my boss, I'm familiar with everybody else's story. My boss forwarded it to me and asked me if I could attend.
Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. The next person I have is Brenda Max. Brenda Max, are you able to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Brenda Max. I'm with Live Right Structure Recovery Corp and Live Right Properties. And I'm trying to get video, but other than that, I'm here to listen today.
Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you being here. Tony Willis.
Hi, Tony Willis. I'm with the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, or LEAP, it's known as. I got this invite and saw the subject line, so definitely want to make an appearance and learn more and see how LEAP can participate.
Fantastic. Welcome, Tony. Amanda Holliday.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Holliday. I work with Congress of Communities, which is in Southwest Detroit. And just like Tony was saying, I saw this, I was invited and thought it might be interesting to listen as a nonprofit partner.
Thank you. Welcome. Amy Moore.
There we go. Hi, my name is Amy Moore. I live in Lansing near the Fledge. I've been a prisoner pen pal for 25 years. And I just have an interest in some of the solutions you might come up with, helping to be a facilitate, just facilitate some connections. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Amy. Angela Spino Bogota.
Hi, my name's Angela. I'm the Prevention and Recovery Support Coordinator with the Alliance, and I am here to listen and help in any way that I can.
Thank you. Welcome. Charles Rolsch.
Hi, I'm Charles Rolch. I'm with the City of Lansing's Offender Success Program. And so I'm just here to learn a little bit more about how we can help our clientele.
Fantastic. Welcome. Janelle Murray.
Hi, I'm Janelle Murray. I am the Associate Director of Integrated Health for Michigan Primary Care Association, and have a lot of interest about helping returning citizens with their health and well-being. So part of that would also be getting employment. So here to listen.
Great. Erin Witkoff.
I work with Families Against Narcotics for the Hope Not Handcuffs program for the last couple of years, and I just accepted a position as the program director for their Comeback Quick Response Team.
Welcome, Erin. Thanks for being here. Jennifer Levins. Jennifer Levins. All right, we'll go ahead.
It wouldn't let me unmute. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. We all have this problem at least 5 times a day.
So my name is Jennifer Levins. I am the Schoolcraft County Communities That Care Coordinator up in the UP. And I'm also a prevention specialist with Great Lakes Recovery Centers. And I'm just kind of here to listen and figure out how our coalitions and our communities can support these citizens. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Jordan Davis.
Hello, my name is Jordan Davis. I am the Executive Director of the Capital Area IT Council. I also work closely with Capital Area of Michigan Works, and I am here today listening intently to see what some of the ideas businesses are brainstorming on how to hire returning citizens, so that way I can take that back to some of the IT council organizations and kind of plant that seed. So thank you for having this group and allowing me to attend.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it, Jordan. We have Kelly Feenstra.
Hello, my name is Kelly Feenstra. I'm a program specialist at Michigan Primary Care Association. I work with Janelle Murray, who introduced herself earlier. Again, she sent the invite to me, but I also have an interest in this topic as well.
Welcome. Kevin Fisher.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Fisher, the Executive Director for NAMI Michigan. NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We are an advocacy organization for anyone who's been affected by mental illness. And of course, I'm here to listen. We do work with individuals who are reentering and just trying to make sure they have all the supports and opportunities available to make them successful.
Fantastic. Thank you. Lisa Anderson.
Hi, I work for Catholic Human Services, and I'm a certified prevention specialist. I cover Grand Traverse, Kalkaska, and Leelanau counties. And I'm pretty much a part of every coalition or collaborative that those counties have. So quite frequently, we have interaction with returning citizens, and I'm just here to find out how what I do can interact with what's going on.
Thank you. Welcome. Marianne Vergeth. Did I say it Vergeth?
Yeah, hi. I'm Marianne Vergith with the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities. I work with Angela Spino Pagoda, who spoke earlier. We're here to learn about, what's going on with this campaign. And also we have a couple programs that teach life skills to people who are in early recovery. And so if there's any, through partnering with this, any way that we can help those individuals that we serve, we'd like to learn about that as well. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. I have Megan from the Red Project.
Hi, I'm Megan from the Red Project. I'm a program manager here, and our program works on harm reduction efforts with individuals who have substance use. And so I'm just here to listen and see what our organization can do to be a part of this.
Well, thank you. Welcome. Michelle Merritt. Michelle Merritt. We'll circle back around. Mike Tobias.
Hey, good afternoon. Mike Tobias. I work for Prevention Network in the Michigan Coalition to Reduce Underage Drinking. I'm a person in long-term recovery from alcohol and other drugs. And we work part of a local group called Capital Area Project Box, work with some folks in recovery or those struggling with addiction. And sometimes we come across folks coming back out of incarceration and things. So I'm interested in the topic to learn more.
Thank you. Welcome. Monica Janner.
Monica Janner. I work for Northwest Initiative. I run a grassroots reentry program. I also created a day reporting program for Community Corrections PA 511. I am formerly incarcerated, and at every table that needs a voice for the formerly incarcerated.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate you. Nate Burmeister.
Yeah, I work for the Offender Success Program through Peckham, helping guys and gals who are coming out of prison get employment. So I'm interested in networking with some more employers who are thinking about this. And I also have a son who is convicted of a felony as well, and have a personal interest.
Welcome. Nicole Sawyers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Sawyers. I work for the Michigan Department of Corrections as the Vital Document Specialist, and I'm just here to listen and help out in any way I can.
Welcome. Thank you. Odie Norkin.
Hi, my name is Odie Norkin. I'm a VP at the Michigan Flyer Bus Company, and we're a division of Indian Trails with offices and facilities in Romulus and Nawaso here in Lansing area, and also in Kalamazoo. And I'm just here to learn about the program. Thanks.
Thank you, Odie. Shelley Belton.
Hi, I'm Shelley Belton. I work for the State of Michigan Bureau of Elections. I'm here because I have just invested interest about providing resources and networking to people that don't traditionally have those readily available. So I'm here to listen and then just connect people as needed.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I have Stacy Hickox. Stacy, would you like to?
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. I'm on the faculty of the School of Human Resources and Labor Relations at Michigan State, and I do research on the barriers to employment faced by people with convictions, and also work with Monica on a project where we have students going to Northwest Initiative, helping them get ready for employment.
Yeah, me and Monica talked yesterday, and she told me all about your work. I'd be really interested in sitting down and having a conversation outside of this focus group. Anybody else? Did I miss anyone? There's a long list, so if I missed you, just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mona Abdullah-Jeze. I work for Access in Dearborn. Access is the largest Arab American nonprofit organization in the United States. I oversee the Access Substance Abuse Community Coalition, and I am their community engagement manager. I'm here to listen and see what I can take back to our team. We have expanded our team in the last few years by hiring in peer coaches, and that's been a really beneficial part of our work in treatment and in prevention.
Great, welcome. Anyone else I missed? Jeff Moyer, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I can quickly go. My name is Jeff Moyer. I'm just recently finished my PhD in public policy, and also I'm working with Charlotte as an organizing together consultant. And I specialize in cannabis legalization and cannabis consulting services. So that's sort of where I'm getting my own work, building my own practice, and trying to get involved in communities around the country that are looking to legalize.
Thanks, Jeff. I think I got everybody. Anybody else?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Percy Glover. I was invited by Shelly. Thank you for the opportunity. And I think I only know a couple people on the Zoom, so nice to meet everyone. My passion is personal and professional. I spent a little more than a decade in prison, throughout a few prisons across the state of Michigan. I've been released and happily free for almost 20 years. I'm not gonna talk about my resume, it's really lengthy. My current assignment is as the Genesee County Ambassador for the Genesee County Sheriff Department, which is really interesting because I've been sworn in as a deputy sheriff, which is very unheard of with somebody with a felony background. Again, I'm just happy and excited to be a part of this. Monica, Jana would know I say this quite often. When I was released from prison 20 years ago, these type of things didn't take place. So I'm always encouraged and excited to be in more and more conversations to help and create change.
Thank you. Welcome, Percy. It's really great for everyone to share a little bit about themselves. I really appreciate you taking the time again to join us, but also to share your background and interests with us. This really means a lot, being born and raised here in Michigan. I've had a lot of friends who have been incarcerated, had a lot of pen pals for many years in the system. Many people, loved ones, family that I care about have been impacted by the discrimination and biases that people face when re-entering into society. So it's my goal that with this program, we'll be able to build out a model that'll help businesses better help returning citizens adapt to their new life. So I'm just going to go over a couple objectives of the focus group. I'm not sure how many of you have taken part in a focus group, but the goal is to be able to have research that can help to develop or improve products or services. So this is specifically to help us improve our services to for-profit businesses who would like to focus on hiring returning citizen as a main objective and mission of their company. And then so to do this, I believe that each community has its own unique needs and perspectives, culture, politics, and economy. And so as a result, the economy, politics, and needs of a returning citizen is going to be different than the businesses that hire them. So I would like to reframe the issue not as a problem on the returning citizen to adapt, but actually on the businesses to adapt and be able to create standard operating procedures that will really provide them with the understanding, the education needed to assist returning citizens in finding the resources that will make them successful in the long term. So I'm not going to give you a whole lot of facts about the program or returning citizens at this point. I kind of want to hear feedback from you. I'm sure that you all have heard small amounts or great amounts of information about returning citizens. And so I want to see how that impacts you. So another objective of this focus group is I want to make sure that we create a program that provides these businesses with these effective tools that I've been talking about. And standard operating procedures is just one. Having lists and resources of reentry services and working with the government and local business associations will definitely help increase the tool set that they have to draw from when helping returning citizens. And then the fourth objective is also to increase the number of returning citizens that are hired in the first 3 weeks of release and to decrease recidivism in Michigan. Recidivism rates are very high for individuals who do not find jobs within the first month of returning. So it's very important that we get them a job as quick as possible and make it as easy as possible for them. Now, as we discussed, returning citizen has lots of broad umbrella terminology involved with it. Some people believe that anyone who has been out of prison or jail for 1 week to 1 year should be considered a returning citizen. This is very different language than what is actually federally seen as being a returning citizen. To take advantage of the workforce opportunity tax credit, the person has to have had been charged with a felony conviction and not have been out of released from incarceration for more than a year. It also has to be the first time that an employer hires this person. You can't get the tax credit on someone who has been hired months before. You have to fill out the paperwork in advance. The federal bonding program, which has come to my attention that lots of for-profit businesses don't realize that they have this initiative, but the employees receive bonds starting at $5,000 in value to kind of as insurance to the organization hiring the returning citizen, that if anything is stolen, that they will that money will be returned to them. We'll talk a little bit more after I gain some more information from you about the impacts that this has and what insurance issues there are. So let's talk about the questions in the focus group. Now, I don't expect everybody to answer. And as I said, I would like people who work in the for-profit industry and with the business associations to kind of have the microphone on for us to learn and listen. But the first question I would like to ask is, has everybody here heard of the term returning citizen? And if anybody would like to discuss this, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll call on you. Has anybody not heard of the term returning citizen before? Does the definition that I described surprise anyone? Why or why not? All right, I'm going to take it that everyone here has heard about returning citizens and at least have heard that term used before. Now, has everyone heard of the federal bonding program? Is there anyone, it's new to you? Okay. No. So it looks like we're getting mixed results in the chat. We have Mona said that it's new to them. Same with Kevin, hadn't heard about it before. Jordan Davis had heard about the Fidelity Bonding Program. And Amanda Holiday has not. Marianne Bergeth has not. So it seems like that can be a very widely misunderstood program for individuals working with, or they're hiring returning citizens or even working with them. And I'll end up showing a little video at the end of this that describes the process to an employer. But I think that this is a really good first start, is to actually get some of this written down and get it some data points, and knowing that this is a huge problem. I, as an employer, a first-time employer, entrepreneur, and small business owner, I didn't know about the bonding program either. So it's good to know. Is there anybody else who hasn't heard about the workforce opportunity tax credit? Is this the first time anyone has heard of this program? All right. Let's move on to, has anyone here hired a returning citizen? And I would like to know more about their experience. So if you have hired a returning citizen in the past, could you please describe that experience, both positive and negative aspects, please? Nobody's went through the process of hiring a returning citizen?
I actually have. When I've worked in campaign work, I've had a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, and a lot of those have been, or sometimes those tend to be people that are returning. In terms of, I try to get to learn their situation a little bit as best I can without, getting too much into things, but the ones that I've had have all worked really well and really hard. And I think I experienced that they don't always get a lot of opportunities. So when they do get them, they seem to, at least the ones that I've worked with, seem to thrive on that. It's, hey, these guys gave me a chance, I got to do it.
Was it a difficult process during the hiring process? Did you have to fill out any of the paperwork?
Not an awful lot, but there is more to it than just a general Joe Schmo application. So there are some more steps, and I don't know that people always know what those steps are. Rather, they just kind of, in my experience, it's just kind of a, I'm just not going to worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's 3 piece forms that need to be filled out. There's the 8850, the 961, or the 962, depending on the person's background.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a process that has to be taken for every person you hire. And I think that that's not always obvious, and I don't think that there's enough trainings for businesses interested. I also think there's a lot of work probably needing to be done for businesses to want to, because I think that, for us who own businesses who are here talking about it right now, we obviously have a vested interest in it. But how do we get the businesses who aren't here interested? And so I think that will be an ongoing question that we talk about and should be in the back of everyone's mind as we further develop this program. Does anybody else have any experience hiring returning citizens or taking them through that process?
Hello. Hi, my name is Karen Morelli. I'm representing Live Right. We have a nonprofit community center, but we also have a for-profit for Live Right Properties, where we house folks that are seeking recovery. And a lot of these folks are from rehabs, jails, and prisons. And I like to call it bridging that gap. We offer employment and job placement. And we've found that the folks that get to work and can be constructive the quicker when they get out of prison are the most productive. And these are the folks that can blend back into society and the community with more self-esteem, with more resources. And I think that it does lower the recidivism. And I think overall for the community, for the employer, I think it's just a win-win. These folks have paid their price. Some crimes are worse than others, but we take a lot of people that are convicted of felonies, and people that aren't serious, whether they go into relapse or they turn back to crime. But for the most part, the people that are working, they grow a life and it sticks. That's my experience.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. Does anybody else have any experience hiring a returning citizen for their organization? All right. If we have no more feedback on that specifically, I would like us to think about one positive view that you've heard, either someone has told you or that you've heard before, and one negative view of returning citizens. How do you usually hear the media talk about them? How do you hear employers talk about them? How do you feel like people, your neighbors and community feel about returning citizens in general?
I do want to say one comment. One thing that I've noticed is a lot of people use returning citizen, and I forget what meeting I was in, but it really resonated with me that they are not returning. They've always been citizens. So labeling someone as a returning citizen as if they were not a part of life is sometimes, it creates a stigma because their opinion matters whether they're incarcerated or not. Their livelihood matters. So humanizing them a little bit more than returning citizen. You've always mattered. So that is something that I've noticed that people will do, and that sometimes devalues them in a way.
Mm-hmm. Any other feedbacks, opinions, observations on Shelley's comment or on the question I posed before?
Hello.
Hi, Monica.
Hey, I just wanted to say there's a long conversation about the term returning citizens, and we could have a conversation for a while. And I'm sure Percy's having the same, hold his thoughts on this conversation because you're here for something else. But yeah, that's definitely a point of contention for people that are returning.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can I share something really quickly, please?
Please go ahead, Percy.
Thank you for the shout out, Monica. You know, I love you to death. Definitely a lot of thoughts on my end. Being on both sides of the table as somebody was doing interviews for applicants who had a background, also being part of that group or person that made the decision in hiring somebody with a background, and also being on the opposite side of the table as an applicant, potential employee, personally and professionally for myself, as a person who has some experience with incarceration. I think the most interesting and most difficult thing, and this is based on my experience, and from both being on both sides of the table, I think the most difficult thing is people being so uncomfortable with having the conversation. You know, I know from a professional's perspective, when I identify somebody and they had maybe something that was a little questionable in their background, even though I had to say, you know, my coworkers or colleagues were kind of questioning me, but not understanding that, you know, with professional and personal experience, you know, I saw the person in a different light, you know, so just having that awkwardness, and I think not being open to having a conversation just makes it really uncomfortable most times.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Percy. I appreciate your feedback. And as I said, some people aren't going to be feeling very comfortable to talk openly necessarily in a large group like this. And that's why we put a survey down in the chat. So if you could take the time to write out some of your opinions and beliefs or false or true narratives, we're interested in just understanding the perceptions. And everyone's perception is going to be different. So please feel free to use that survey in the chat as a way to share your perspective as well. Does anybody else have any feedback on the different perspectives or stereotypes that are usually pushed on returning citizens? All right, now if you have not hired a returning citizen before, what's stopping you from hiring one today? Besides the obvious economic downturn in COVID. Hey, Tony.
Is Tony speaking or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I've been on a lot of hiring panels, and looking at applicants. And what I find is that none of them ever come to my desk. So I'm not sure if it's the employer policy, but I've worked at the state, I've worked outside of the state, but I've never even had the opportunity to consider. So that is something that I've noticed, that it seems to be only this one job is going to cater to this population versus it just being something. But I don't know if that's within hiring, that if you don't answer a certain way, it's filtered, but I've never even had the opportunity to consider an applicant that's returning.
Thank you for that feedback. That's really
Can I
important.
please respond to Shelley's comments?
Of course.
As a former employee for the state and a former contractor for the state, it's a really interesting process when you're applying for a job for the state of Michigan. I hate to say it this way, but just being really candid, the state of Michigan is still a good old boy system, and their hiring practice is not fair. But when you look at the process in a fair aspect, what makes it tough is, number one, like Shelley said, answering those questions. Because if you don't answer the questions to a certain degree or level, you're not going to get a call back. Then it's not, the next thing is uploading the documents. If you don't upload every document, you're not getting a call back. The irony in that is that hiring managers for the state, they only look at the questions. They don't even look at your resume, transcripts, et cetera, et cetera. They only look at those questions. So if you don't answer the questions in a certain way, or let me say this differently. Answering the questions in a certain way puts you in a certain percentile of applicants. And if you're not like 80% or higher in that category of applicants, you're not getting a call back. Now, it gets really interesting because I personally have interviewed for 5 or 6 jobs for the state. And the part that gets really interesting, that obviously I met all the requirements or I wouldn't have gotten an interview. But there are still so many people that's still so uncomfortable to hire somebody with the background. That's probably the biggest problem. You know, that if I got A through Z, 1 through 100 in regards to education, experience, and skills, et cetera, once they see that a person has felony history, background, it gets awkward from that point. So like Shelley said, a lot of applicants don't make it to that point of being considered because they don't answer the questions well or don't know how to answer the questions well. But then if they do make it to that point, like I said, there's so much awkwardness and so many uncomfortable things and thinking and aspects of it that everyone is still have that older thinking where, oh, if I give this person a chance and something happens or something goes wrong, it falls back on me. Which, like I'm constantly always saying, that if a person is looking for a job, they're not looking to recidivate. They're looking to be on a positive path, to be a great employee, to take care of themselves, take care of their family. They're not looking to recidivate. Those type of people that are still, for whatever good and bad reasons, are making mistakes, they're not even in that category of applicants. They automatically weed themselves out.
I think that that's a really important point. Does anybody else have any other observations, opinions, perceptions of why they have not hired a returning citizen in the past and what's stopping them from hiring a returning citizen?
I can't say to the fact of why I haven't, but I have experienced some of the consequences of what could happen if you do hire one of those folks that does end up recidivizing or returning. I had a call where I was asked by police about one of my workers, and he was a returning person, and I really thought he had a shot at, I thought I was giving him a shot to really turn things around, and maybe that didn't end up being the case. And I think a lot of people are just scared of that possibility. I don't want to, if I'm a hiring person, I don't want to be in the position where I have to, where that's even a realm of possibility, whether it's accurate or not. I think people are just they just don't want to be in that situation, and it's unfortunate.
Yes.
Promise, my last statement, I promise.
You're totally fine, Percy, no worries.
And I'm sorry, gentlemen, I missed his name, but he did make some really valid points, because I've also seen and experienced that you do give a person a chance and they do mess up. But one thing I also continue to say is that you have to, this day and age, you have to look at the word human and put the word human back in the term human resources, because a lot of the fallout and a lot of the things that employees go through is with all employees. It's not necessarily just employees who have a background, but it's all employees. You know, if it's transportation issue, if it's a babysitting issue, if it's, okay, I love my job, but honestly, I don't make enough to take care of my family or take care of me well. You know, so when it comes to somebody with a background that has made some poor choices, the job could be perfect. But if I just don't make enough, yeah, temptation, bills, et cetera, start to push me, pull me. I get tempted and I make some poor choices again. But those poor choices are across people across the board. It's just heightened and looked at differently because some people has already made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
There was a comment in the chat that I thought was great. They said that the stigma prevents returning citizens because they have a fear of failure, and then employers aren't aware of the employment not giving someone a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, you want to give these people a chance, but at the same time, if they're not getting all their needs met, they may be subject to the same problems. I think that's a good point. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing from the group is that there is a tendency for, obviously there's some sort of inherent bias that the employer has. There are a lot of processes in place that prevent certain people's resumes from even making it through the hiring process. So whatever those processes are for hiring have not been working adequately for everyone equally. And then also there's difficulties on behalf of the individual who might feel as if they are not good enough or able to get that job. So they just simply don't apply at all, which is definitely an issue for which people providing reentry services are focused on. And for all these different problems, as a for-profit business owner, I would like to know some ways in which you think that employers, what could be done to help employers hire more and hire more equitably.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
You don't have to apologize. It's completely fine. Please speak as much as you want.
One of the big differences, because I know I was sorry I was driving, but I heard somebody say, if you spent a week in a jail, if you spent a week in prison, I think one of the big things that people miss when somebody's re-entering society, regardless if they're coming from a jail or a prison, whatever type of facility, is that when you look at the need and case management, it's most times missed, because somebody leaving jail or prison is a lot different from somebody looking for a job most times. Somebody looking for a job may be struggling financially, but a person living a facility may not have anything. They may not have clothes. They may not have hygiene products. They may not have anywhere to stay. They may not have transportation. They may not have a bank account. So when somebody's getting out of prison or jail, it's kind of like being born as an adult. Like a baby comes into the world with nothing, an adult comes into the world the same way. So I think case management needs to be more intensive most times with somebody being released from a facility, because, okay, I may be receiving a great job with pretty cool benefits, pay $16, $17 an hour, which is not pretty bad wage-wise, but for somebody that's getting out that doesn't have anything, $16, $17 is still not enough to put towards a deposit, first month's rent, for a car, for furniture, for clothes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. most issues that most people don't have to deal with.
Can I add to that? As you know, that what you just said is really well said, and I was just thinking about, and this is a little different than this particular topic, but it also is the same. When we have individuals that are trying to find a job and they are suffering from a mental illness, you know, we have a particular program that works with individuals who have an SMI and work with therapists and case managers, and many times we find out that when individuals are coming in to find, you know, looking for work or trying to put food on the table, their health is at risk many times, and they haven't been seen by a primary care doctor. They haven't had any like preventative work. Some of them don't even have health insurance or don't even know how to apply to health insurance. And that's one thing that I like to see is that, you know, we are able to help individuals apply for health insurance, and then also through the employment training program for SMI, they provide individuals with like how to build your resume with close for interviews. You know, how do you just, you know, do an interview, and this is a very important process because it can be very anxious for anyone, especially, you know, and then add the mental health aspect into it, so it makes it even harder. And I know that Medicaid is different for individuals that are incarcerated, and then when they leave, it has to be switched over, or they have to reapply and they have to reopen their case.
There's a lot of issues that need to be handled simultaneously to make the overall process effective, which makes sense, and which is why there's so many reentry services that are lacking. I feel like in Michigan, we worked with the Prevention Network's MODA program and helped do an organizational capacity assessment with overdose prevention organizations across the state. And it's just all too apparent as a lot of people who are re-entering society from jails and prisons often have mental health and substance abuse issues. And there's a lot of mismanagement, underfunding for organizations who are working in grassroots type situations where they're actually on the ground. And we're hoping that our report that we provided to the health department might better clarify some grant making avenues so that they're hitting the most impacted and the most needy through these grassroots organizations. And I'm happy to hear that there are a number of organizations here present who work with reentry services. But again, I struggle to really see a lot of for-profit organizations taking advantage of both the fidelity bonding and the workforce opportunity tax credit. And to encourage this, we've actually come up with a program that I'm going to discuss for the last 5 minutes. But does anybody else have any comments they would like to say before I go over this new program that we're going to be launching this year? And then at 5, if you're still interested in the actual process of applying for the WOTC, there's a short video tutorial that I'll be playing too.
Yeah, I have a
Have one
comment I would
quick-
like to add. Oh,
Yep.
Kelly, go ahead.
Nate, okay, well, mine's really quick. Sometimes it's paperwork. So getting their ID, proving that they have the paperwork to be hired, because I half the time don't have it. So a returning citizen would have a hard time gathering that info.
Thank you, Shelley. That's really important for us to know.
I have one quick, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Percy, thank you. So there is a lot of complexity, and I'm really thankful that more and more our country is moving towards handling some of the complexities with returning citizens. But to the employers who are on the call, as a provider who helps returning citizens find employment, part of our work is pre-employment. Getting guys ready to talk about their convictions in the interview, helping them find the resources they need, preparing them with their documents before they go to an interview. And so we look to build relationships with employers and with the individuals who are hoping to be placed. And so part of our work is screening out applicants. And so if you're an employer and you're not sure who to contact, I know that the Michigan Department of Corrections does have an offender success program in every region throughout the state. And those contracts are required to have vendors such as us to do this work, to help screen individuals out, so that if someone does have a theft conviction and your HR will not allow that, then they will screen people out and only send you qualified applicants. And it creates a better bridge for you to trust the employment specialists. Instead of just taking the word of every returning citizen, we can help advocate for them and help find you qualified applicants. And also for the applicants, it's really discouraging to have doors shut in your face over and over and over. And we know, as you know, just being on this call, I really appreciate that you're showing a willingness to step into this field that there is a stigma in. And so I would encourage you to reach out to your I would say your city department or the Michigan Department of Corrections in your region and find who your service providers are, because there are people striving to build these bridges for you and help your experience with it be successful. If anybody's in Lansing, I work for Peckham, Amber Paxton, and Charles Rolsch help that as well. We'd love to help connect you with some very willing guys who are more motivated than most of the population, because they have to meet parole requirements. They have families they haven't seen in forever. They have skills that haven't been used, and without a work history, they know it's hard. We can find you some guys ready to work. So thanks for being on the call. Thanks for holding it, Charlotte.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Nate. And I'm just going to go ahead if nobody has anything else to say. Just wanted to talk a little bit about our Compassionate Businesses program that we're going to be launching this year. All right.
1 second, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was an awesome share from the gentleman. I'm sorry, I missed the name again. I would say, thank you. I would say, for any business owner and companies that are looking to develop programming, Cascade Engineering in the Grand Rapids area, they've kind of mastered this. They have a good protocol, approach, everything in regards to hiring returning citizens. Next thing I would say also, I know speaking for myself in the offender population, and I'm sure this is okay that I say for Monica, is that sometimes don't overthink it. Because when I say we, talking about primarily people who have experience with incarceration, there's talent, there's ability there. There's also the stigma, but don't overthink it, because we can do the work. The work has been done. We have the education. We have the ability. We have everything A to Z that any other applicant would have. So sometimes just don't overthink it as well. Along with also not being afraid to pull the trigger on somebody that you feel like would do well, but might be a little hesitant because of their background. Don't be afraid.
Thank you, Percy. I really appreciate your feedback and your participation today. Just so you know, for everybody who works for government agencies and nonprofits that work with reentry services and for businesses, Organizing Together will be offering our returning citizens training program, for which we might change the name of. We're going to have a focus group that specifically sits, and we discuss this with people who are returning to their lives out of incarceration, to really figure out what they're comfortable with and whether or not the procedures that we're recommending to businesses are approved by them as well. So that's one step in our long-term strategy for building out this program. But we know for sure that there is going to be this program. There are going to be 2 tier sets. One is a one-on-one introduction and training to maybe the HR specialist or the owner of the business for a flat rate of $1,400. It'll come with a business workbook, links to all of the different documentations, including the 8850 and the 9061 and 62 forms that you'll need. And then we'll also, a second tier would be company-wide employee training, and this would include sensitivity training and diversity, equity, and inclusion training. And so that's starting at $2,600. Now, for any business who participates, they will be automatically, for the second tier, will be automatically entered into our Compassionate Communities Businesses That Do More program. And this will provide you with 20% off additional services through organizing together and our consultants. We offer a range of different services, including website development, logo design, branding, marketing, outreach, target audience research, all different types of things. And I'll go ahead and put our website in the link. But we're hoping that through this Compassionate Communities program that we'll be able to incentivize more businesses to take on people returning to their lives and hopefully reduce recidivism in Michigan and in our communities. And we're always willing to create more partners, to get more feedback. So if you're ever interested in having a sit-down conversation with me or one of my other consultants, please feel free to contact us and I'll throw that information in there. Are there any questions on the program? Oh, all right. Well, if there's anybody interested in the exact ways that you can take advantage of this tax credit, we'll go ahead and just watch this video together. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming and participating in this work group. I am really thrilled that you could all be here to provide any input. As I said, there's a link in the chat to a survey. If you would like to stay up to date on this program, please at least leave your name and email in the survey. If you don't want to fill out the answers to the questions, that's totally fine too. But if you feel more comfortable adding information there, we're always really appreciative. We'll be synthesizing the information that we discussed here in today's focus group. We're going to have this information transcribed and put into a report that we're hoping to publish by the end of February. And we'll be having another focus group, as we said, that brings in just returning citizens and to get their perspective once we have a program developed that they can review. So yeah, if you don't have any more questions or anything else to say, I'll go ahead and play the video. All right, it's just 5 minutes and 41 seconds. So can you hear it? No. Hold on.
Getting a job.
How about now?
You may be able to get a WOTC tax credit if you hire an unemployed veteran or someone who has received food stamps or has received vocational rehabilitation or who faces other kinds of challenges getting a job. You can get a tax credit of between $1,200 and $9,600 for each WOTC eligible hire. Getting the WOTC tax credit means doing some paperwork, but it's really not that complicated. You apply for WOTC by sending 2 forms to the Department of Labor in your state government. It's usually called the State Workforce Agency. If the State Workforce Agency certifies your WOTC application, then you can file with the IRS to claim the tax credit. And that's it. You have your WOTC. It's an opportunity for a deserving job candidate and a tax credit for you. If you think you might want to apply for a Work Opportunity Tax Credit or WOTC, the next few minutes will show you how to do it. There are 5 steps, and we'll explain them one at a time. As we go, we'll give you tips like this. But first, you need to know what types of workers are eligible for WOTC. These include veterans, summer youth employees, ex-felons, members of a family that has received temporary assistance or food stamp benefits, certain people with disabilities who receive SSI benefits or who are getting vocational rehabilitation, and people who live in certain low-income communities. You can find out all the details on eligibility requirements at doleta.gov/WOTC. There are some people who don't qualify, relatives and dependents of the employer who's hiring, or majority owners of the business. Also, this has to be a new hire. It can't be a current or former employee, regardless of how long it's been since the person last worked for you. Step 1. This is for pre-screening a job candidate and filling out IRS Form 8850. Ask the person you want to hire to fill out the first page. Then you fill out page 2. Form 8850 needs to be completed on or before the day the job offer is made. Step 2. Fill out a second form from the U.S. Department of Labor's Employment Training Administration, or ETA. You or the job applicant will fill out ETA Form 9061. With the 9061, if you can, include documentation that shows how the candidate meets the eligibility requirements for WOTC. The instructions for this documentation are part of Form 9061. Some job candidates may already have a different form, ETA Form 9062. It means that an agency that's been helping them has conditionally certified them as eligible for WOTC. If your applicant has a 9062, you just complete the employer's part of the form. Step 3. You've already done most of the work. Now you just send the 2 completed, signed, and dated forms to your state workforce agency. Different states have different ways for employers to submit the forms. You can check this website for information for your state. This site also lists the WOTC coordinator in your state, a good person to contact if you have questions about WOTC or the application process. You must submit the forms within 28 days after your new employee starts working for you. If you don't meet this requirement, then your WOTC application will be denied by the state. How can you prevent this from happening? The minute you and your job applicant complete, sign, and date those 2 forms, send them to your state workforce agency. Do not send these forms to the Internal Revenue Service or the U.S. Department of Labor in Washington, D.C. Step 4. Your state workforce agency will issue you a final determination on your WOTC application. This determination will tell you whether or not your new hire meets the eligibility requirements for WOTC. If the eligibility requirements are met, then the state workforce agency will send you a certification. With that certification, you're home free because Step 5 is filing and claiming your WOTC tax credit. Most employers file with the IRS using Form 5884. But if your organization is tax exempt and you're hiring an eligible veteran, then you file Form 5884C. For more information about filing with the IRS, visit irs.gov. Before you file for WOTC, your new hire must have worked for you for at least 120 hours. And after you claim the credit, don't forget to keep your records for at least 3 years. And that's it. For the price of some paperwork, you'll have helped a deserving person get a job. You'll have a good new employee, and you'll get a tax credit. It's a great opportunity, and that's what WOTC is all about. Learn more about the Work Opportunity Tax Credit at doleta.gov/WOTC or call 877-872-5627.
All right. Anyone else have any question or feedback that they would like to give before we wrap it up today? Well, I thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll attend other focus groups that Organizing Together conducts on various topics of organizational development to help your organization. Please feel free to contact us with any questions or concerns moving forward. If you'd like to keep up to date on this project, please complete the survey in the chat and we'll update you shortly. Thank you. Have a wonderful week.